So last time I left off with having to do some wiring and get the turn signals and everything working properly on these mirrors. I did that. It's been a little while since I have done that. You can tell we've been on a few trips. But I wanted to walk through kind of how I did the wiring and how the mirrors actually perform. The upper part of the mirrors vibrate a little bit, but other than that, it's been pretty good. I'm gonna wait till it gets a little darker and then kind of show off these lights. In the meantime, we can take a look at the wiring. The most interesting one was that red wire you see there plugged into the fuse, or split off of the fuse, for the rear defrost. So I used a fuse splitter, whatever it's called, I'll link it below, and then tapped into the wires that I ran from the mirrors, at least the hot side. The ground I just grounded into a black wire that I found in that clump of wires. And then when you activate the rear defrost, it sets off the switch and activates the circuit so that the rear defrost and mirrors work in tandem. And it's not been used a lot, but it works. Other than that, it was just the power mirrors. So the only issue that I couldn't resolve is up-down works, but with the way that, I don't know, the wiring and the mirrors are, left and right are opposite, that's still the same. Those are just tied in the way they were, right to the end of the existing connectors. The signals, which are front and back on the mirror, I ran down and tied into the engine bay, actually right where the bulbs split off, but they went through the firewall, and I'll link the parts that I used to do that. Let me show you the engine bay. So for the turn signals, nothing super impressive or permanent, but I have the punch through the firewall down underneath there, and then I have a set of cables running down and around into the turn signals. So that's pretty simple wiring, minus drilling the firewall. Not too bad though. The guys at Astro Safari Forums helped me out. The reverse lights are wired into a wire I had ran for the backup camera. So the backup camera gets its power from the reverse lights, and since I had that cable already running up to my head unit, I split that off and it gets power through that, which works pretty well. And the reverse lights are decent in brightness, not super crazy, but good enough. The other item was those spotlights, or the drop lights, or whatever they're called. Those. So those are each wired down along the floorboard here and up through the B-pillar, across, tied into this dome light. So when this dome light comes on, or when the dome lights come on, those come on. And I'll show you that a little better once it gets dark. Alright, a little darker now. I can actually show some of the lighting functions. Oh, cat. So, disarming. With the dome lights come these spots. This one has my wife's blogs logo in it, but the colors we picked didn't come out very great, but you can kind of see the two P's for pink profile. They hit the sides of the van because they're really not meant to be this high, I don't think. Meant to be a little bit lower to the ground and throw a smaller diameter. But my side looks a little bit better with my NoS Irby logo on that side. And the only other thing you might see in the video earlier is the black paint that was on that trim piece has completely come off, so it's just bare metal or brass or whatever it's made out of. But it's never seen, so no big deal. Here's what the turn signals look like. Not quite in sync, but close enough. And then back side is just a row of LEDs, bright enough. Looks like the back ones are a little more properly in sync. And the reverse lights look something like that. Fairly bright. Alright guys, I've taken up enough of your time. Thanks for watching. Future plans, perhaps a third video coming out if I decide to have a go at some crazy other ideas. Some of them not so crazy, like maybe putting bush guards on the outer edge of the mirrors in case I bump them up against stuff, as I have, being that they're a little bit wider. Or if you're off-roading or something, you hit a tree, those would be nice. And also to the off-roading point, some LED lights kind of built into the gap between the two arms of the rear view mirrors would be cool, and wire those in. And if I really want to get crazy, they have those bird's eye view like backup cameras in some of the more modern vehicles. So those involve a rear view, a front camera, and then side mirror cameras. So getting a set of those working would be really cool. Anyway, thank you for watching, and subscribe, put your little notification thing on so if ever that third video comes out, you will know about it. Talk to you later.